This is the incredible story of an island that appeared out of nowhere. How exactly does an island just appear out of nowhere? You might be thinking it would take years for such a thing to happen. And you'd be right. But sometimes, Mother Nature has a way of surprising us all. In 2013, satellite images captured the emergence of a new island in the Indian Ocean. One that wasn't there just months before. It was a small island, only half a square mile wide, but it was completely new and no one knew where it came from. The nearest landmass was the Indonesian island of Java, which was more than 60 miles away. And yet this island just popped into existence between them. It's not like this is the first time something like this has happened. There are records of similar mysterious islands appearing and disappearing over the years. For example, there was the island of Incheon, which appeared off the coast of Korea in 1995 and then vanished just 2 years later. Or the island of Hibben, which emerged off the coast of Greece in 1826 and disappeared 40 years after that. So, what's really going on here? The truth is scientists don't really know. It's one of those unexplained mysteries that occasionally pops up in our natural world. And so, because we don't know, we can only speculate about how these islands form and why they disappear. Some believe it's down to volcanoes. After all, volcanoes are literally islands that have risen out of the ocean. It's possible, therefore, that a volcano could erupt underwater, creating a new island. However, satellites monitor volcanic activity closely, and there were no signs of any eruptions at the time these mysterious islands appeared. So next, scientists started looking at the possibility of these islands being formed by coral. Coral reefs are made from tiny organisms called polyps. These live underwater and secrete a calcium carbonate, which forms a hard, stony structure around their body. When they die, these structures are left behind, and over millions of years, they build up to form entire reefs. If a reef grew quickly enough, it could potentially rise above sea level and form an island. Again, though, there's no evidence to suggest this is what's happening. Scientists also ruled out erosion as a possible cause, as well as sudden deposits of sand or mud. All of these things can form islands, but there's usually some sort of geological event that causes them. This time, however, none of these theories made any sense. No one had any idea how this island just popped into existence. Then, in 2016, researchers found some answers thanks to some very unlikely sources. A group of surfers stumbled upon the island in 2014, 3 years after it first appeared. They were surprised to find that the island was covered with vegetation, including coconut palms and other trees. Someone even built a small hut on it. When researchers analyzed soil samples from the island, they discovered that the top layer was indeed made from coral, but the rest of it was made from deposits of sand and gravel that had been cemented together. Somehow, this material had hardened into rock, forming the base of the island. But how well? It turned out the answer was actually quite simple. The cementing agent in the rocks was urine. You heard that right. Someone had been urinating on the island, and over time, this had caused it to solidify. Researchers aren't entirely sure why this happened, but they think the high concentration of uric acid in the urine caused it to crystallize and bind with the other minerals in the rock. This may have been an intentional act, or it could have come from animals on nearby boats. Either way, it seems like this mysterious island was destined to become a big pile of rocks after all. To this day, the island remains. And who knows, maybe in a few more decades, it'll be big enough for someone to call it home. Now, you need to watch. People are living underwater in this secret city. Or have a look at the real Atlantis may have been discovered.